I'm the 7th and 8th grade science teacher here at Centertown Elementary School, and today we're going to look at 5 perfectly scoring projects in 8th grade, as well as one 8th grade top scoring group project with 3 gentlemen. We would also like to thank all of our judges that came today. We had 7 fantastic judges. 5 of them were from our Otis T. Floyd Research Center, so we were thrilled to have them today, and we couldn't do this without community support.
Hi, my name is William Blankenship. I tied for 8th grade Centertown Science Project individual. I got into this project because I race go-karts, and this project is about egg demonstration and what's the proper helmet gear to wear. As you can see here, here's some of the eggs that I dropped. I used just a control, then I used just with tissue paper and an egg carton and some toilet paper wrapped around, and I dropped them off 38 inches, and I calculated it out, and a drop for 38 inches for a 5-foot human would be about 60 inches, and we had one egg to make it. Well, I had one egg to make it, and it was the one wearing the helmet with the tissue paper and the egg carton, and here is the only crack that was on it, as you can see here. And this project, I only needed an egg carton, some eggs, and some tissue paper and some tape. That's about it.
My name's Shelby Hill, and I tied for first place in the individual 8th grade science fair. I did durability of different tissue brands, and I tested Puffs, Kleenex, and Great Value. And my hypothesis, I thought Kleenex would be the best tissue to hold the most quarters. And I used a water dropper, and you need water, quarters for the weight, different tissue brands, books to prop up tissues, and Puffs had the best durability. It held 30 quarters, and Kleenex held an average of 16, and Great Value held an average of 13. So first, I took about 1 to 2 inch books, and I propped each tissue up, and I evenly dropped 1 milliliter of water in the center of the tissue, and you add quarters until the tissue starts to rip or break. And then you record the weight that each tissue held, and whatever weight it held. You test it 3 times to get a good amount of your average, and you'll take the average and compare them, and Puffs had the highest value.
My name is Abigail Hodge. I tied for first place in the 8th grade individual science fair project. The proof is in the roof. In this project, I tested different materials of roofing, and I painted them and tested them under a heat lamp to see which roofing would be the hottest. And in the project, the charcoal shingle turned out to be the hottest. My variables are the dependent temperature of roofing, the independent roofing material, control, the group of roofing not painted, and the constant is placing the roofing under heat lamps provides for them to have an equal and more dependent amount of light/heat. After buying the roofing, I cut the sheet metal in half and put the asphalt onto them and smoothed it out evenly with the butter knife and allowed it to dry. I cut each singular roofing down the center and then separated the samples and painted the 2 layers of white paint on one of each sample to maintain the control throughout all of the experiment. I put 2 heating lamps in a safe area, pointing where the roofing would be. After setting the roofing in the same sitting position, I tested what the temperature was. I would check the temperature of each roofing using an infrared thermometer after 15 minutes, and then in 15-minute intervals, I would check it 4 times to make an hour. After I've done this 3 times, I've analyzed the data into a chart and a graph. In conclusion, the charcoal shingle was the hottest material to be tested underneath the heat lamp, and the aluminum flashing seemed to be the coolest underneath the heat lamp. And the asphalt seemed to crack and melt underneath the heat lamp.
I'm Sawyer Thompson from Centertown Elementary, and I did the battle of the toothpaste to see which toothpaste would be the best for taking stains away. We used eggs, a stove and a pot to hard boil it, water to put the water in, Coke to soak the eggs in, toothbrush. We used the same toothbrush because if we use different ones, some toothbrushes have different bristles, so it would be nice to use the same one. Same cups, we don't need different sizes or anything. And we also use the same amount of Coke, and so we use a measuring cup. I use Crest, Colgate, and Aquafresh. Those are 3 of the main toothpaste brands. And then we also used a timer to see how long we brushed the eggs for. And the first thing we did was hard boil them, and then we put them in Coke. And we let them set for about 12 hours, and we took them out. And we had Colgate, Aquafresh, and Crest. And we brushed them for about 1 minute, and we brushed 3 apiece. And once we finished brushing them, we compared them and saw how much Coke it took away. And all in all, Colgate was the best.
I am Solomon Katsarana at Centertown Elementary, and I won first place for the science fair, perfect score of 36. And so what I did is I tested to see if temperature affected the strength of a magnet. So I took just a plain magnet and I recorded it at room temperature to see how far it went, and then I made it very cold in some water with ice and in a freezer, and I measured with just a basic measuring device, a protractor ruler, and something that is attracted to a magnet, and then I heated it. And as you can see in my chart here, I have the data. So room temperature only attracted at a 1/2 inch, and as you went hotter, it went down to only 1/4 of an inch. But as the cold increased and it was subducted to cold, the magnetic properties were increased. And so my hypothesis I saw was correct, and I thought it was a very cool project, and it might be something fun for you to try.
This is Braden Markham, Jason Brewer, and Ethan Gunner, and we got first place in the 8th grade group project at the Centertown Science Fair. We did a project over testing people's reaction time due to how much they play video games. So we took 5 volunteers who were experienced playing video games that played more than 5 hours per week and were younger than age 30 but older than age 10. And we also took 5 who were inexperienced who played less than an hour per week, younger than age 30, older than age 10. And we used an online website to as a stoplight, so when the green light popped up, people would click the button and it would determine their reaction time of how fast they clicked the button. And we recorded their data, put it into a chart on Excel, and it came out as this. And the analysis stated that the exact same thing we put as our hypothesis, which was that we believed experienced video game players would have a better reaction time than non-video game players, which is exactly what the data proved. And our conclusion was, in the end, that the data proved our hypothesis and that experienced video game players have a faster reaction time than non-players to be true. And we even did research over people, how it affected their health, their mental stability, and even deeper into their sleep and things like that.